Hello and welcome. The Indian Railways arouses conflicting emotions, awe for its sheer scale and reach, anger about its abysmal safety standards, and dismay over its poor service quality. It's not easy to lead this mammoth and complex organization, especially if you've had the job for less than a year. Add to that the pulls and pressures of coalition politics, and the question everybody wants to know is if Dinesh Trivedi, the Union Minister for Railways and the Trinamool Congress MP from Barrackpur, will be able to deliver an effective budget. That's the question I'm going to be putting to the Minister over the course of this interview on Beautiful People today. Dinesh Trivedi, welcome to the show. First question is, the week we are speaking, you've just released one more report. It's the modernization committee report, or the expert group on modernization of the railways, headed by Sam Pitroda. This committee recommends that you need to invest over 800,000 crore rupees in the next 5 years. Is this in addition to the 100,000 crore rupees that the Kakodkar Committee on Safety has already recommended?
No, I think it's part of it. You see, basically I tell you what I'm really concerned, and I'm sure all the citizens and all the traveling public should be concerned as well, is safety. So I always tell my board members that if I have got 10 big points on Indian Railways, and the first 3 points, you know what they are? Number 1 is safety, number 2 is safety, and number 3 is safety. In order to ensure that you're 100% safe, what you do in modern times, you modernize. Modern means latest technology. Modern doesn't mean a lovely looking paint. That's part of cosmetics, that's required too. But basically your infrastructure should be solid. And if you look at the investigation after an unfortunate accident, they'll say human error. So we need to have a paradigm shift. Whatever railway has done so far, I can tell you it's outlived its utility. Now we need to rebuild the Indian Railways all over again. We need to change the tracks. We need to make sure the tracks can take heavier loads. Tracks can take more speed. And for that we need to change the signaling system. We need to change the rolling stock, the coaches, the locos. We need to change the stations.
But the bill, that tag that comes with achieving these objectives, is over 800,000 crore rupees.
Sure.
The question is, ye paisa aayega kahan se?
Well, there's nothing called a free lunch. I wish there was a magic. And that's what governments are all about. And I have no doubt about it that the government is obligated.
Let us address this in two halves. First, let's take this budgetary support, the government's funding that you're expecting, and that is where the politics comes into play. You heard my introduction. We have been hearing for about 3-4 months now, continuous tu-tu me-me, continuous back and forth and disagreements that your party, the Trinamool Congress, is having with the Congress and your coalition partners, whether it was the Lokpal bill and its passage, or the fact that it didn't get passed in the Rajya Sabha, whether it is the National Counter-Terrorism Center, whether it's FDI and retail, you know better than me. You've been, dealing with all of it. Now the question
I've been in the crossfire.
You've been caught between a rock and a hard place, isn't it?
No, as far as I'm concerned, I am focused. I'm not into politics in terms of getting the railways where it should. I'm more like a CEO. I'm more like a professional guy. I'm more like a managing director, chairman. I have to deliver. And I don't get bogged down into any kind of such politics.
But
I have to take everybody as a team.
But Mr. Trivedi, you have been quoted in the last few weeks or couple of weeks saying that, or implying that this government is treating the railways like an orphan, implying that this government is leaving the railways to the whims and fancies of an individual minister.
What I have been
implying that you're getting words and not actions from the Planning Commission in spite of various meetings.
No, that's not true. That's not true. If
Have you
you are
been
quoting
misquoted?
some kind of report which I have
Yeah.
already sent a rejoinder to that particular newspaper,
Right.
I think there is no substance between the banner headlines and what is the body of the text of the reporting. I can tell you the Prime Minister is very supportive. If there is one person in this body politics who is inspiring me to carry forward this reform, is the Honorable Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh. I have total faith and he is really, really encouraging me. Montek is a dear friend. He is also going all out. Finance Minister has his compulsion and I am a practical guy. I know nobody has a magic wand. The Finance Minister also is worried about deficit budgeting. So I understand, but I also have to put forward what I need. If you don't cry, even if a child doesn't cry, the mother doesn't feed.
Should the public believe that there is this acrimony that we hear in the political space will not come in the way of you
Of
presenting
course
an
not.
effective
Of
budget
course
on
not.
March 14th?
I am here to deliver.
And you expect the government will support you?
Of course government will support.
You're
because
confident?
Government, I am not away from the government, I am part of the government. Every minister has to fight for his turf, and that is what the duty of every minister is, irrespective of party politics. If you think that a cabinet minister in the Congress doesn't fight for his right and for his thing, he has to, he must, and if he is not doing that, he is not doing his duty.
Let me move on to the other part of where this money can come from. So one is increased budgetary support from the government for the railways. The other part is what you can do, what the railways can do to generate this money. Let's touch the one taboo factor where it comes to internal revenue generation, and that is fares. For 8 years now, we have had no hike in passenger fares. The safety committee led by Anil Kakodkar has suggested a safety cess, which would translate into higher fares. Will you be able to bite the bullet on fares?
I have calculated. As per even Sam Pitroda report, our internal generation for 5 years should be about 2 lakh crore. I am already generating, even if I don't do anything, a lakh of crore is already there in development, in adding more traffic and so on and so forth. So all I have to do is generate about 20 odd thousand crores of rupees every year, which is not very difficult. Given such a huge base, it's not a difficult proposition. And I am very confident without hurting the common man on the street. And I can tell you, fare is not the end of the world.
No, it's not.
Because we could generate 30%.
But it's a sacred cow in India, and it's a sacred cow
I
where
think
your party is concerned,
I
isn't it, when
am,
it comes
you know,
to the public statements
but
that
today
your
if
party
you
and
ask,
your leader
you know
have been
what?
making?
You know what? The passengers come and tell me
They can afford to pay.
that why are you not doing this? But in return, I have to give more comfort to the passengers, right? I have to, it is never just one-way traffic.
Yeah.
I have to give them comfort. I have to give them more efficiency. Today, the Indian public is ready. And they are itching, whether it is the unions, whether it is the consultative committee, whether it's parliament, whether it's members of parliament. Everybody is asking, media. But I have to do something intelligently. See, 30% of the revenue can come from the stations.
So you're saying that if fares were to rise, you have to be confident that you can guarantee people better quality service.
I'm bound to, I'm duty bound. I don't want cockroaches and I don't want rodents to go over. I don't want your food to be stacked near the toilet. And I can tell you these figures which we are talking about, if I go back, it has not just come from thin air. I have gone very systematically. 12th five-year plan is the basis of the figures, and they envisage investment of, in the 12th five-year plan, $1 trillion US. And out of that $1 trillion US, 50%, it means 500 billion is going to come from the government, and the rest is going to come from the private sector. So we are talking about total kitty of 50 lakh crore if we translate. So 25 lakh crore is going to come from the government as per the 5-year plan, 12 5-year plan. All I am asking is, can you not give me 10% of it, which comes to 2,50,000? And that 2,50,000 crore is going to be put into the infrastructure. And this $1 trillion I am talking about is only on infrastructure. So tell me, am I being unfair by asking only 10%? Baba, no, I am not asking for 25%. I am asking for 10%, which is investment, it is not expenditure. And I think we would be stupid not to invest in railways. Your GDP can never grow if you do not invest in railways. The world is looking at Indian railways, let me tell you.
There is a sense that the government is expecting the railways to do much more to generate its own internal revenues. And again, the suggestion seems to be in the direction of fares. Are we getting misled?
What will fares give me? If I need, over a period of 10 years, if I require 10 lakh crore, over a period of first 5 years, I require 8 lakh crore. What is 5,000 crore? What is 7,000 crore? How much fares can give me? Maximum 10,000 crore? But fares are there that you can sustain your cost.
Exactly.
The whole idea is, one is you are capable of taking care of your operational cost. So you are okay, stand alone, you are not like Air India. Okay. You are serious in terms of making your two ends meet. Once your operating ratio, which is today 94, 96, in between even it had gone to 98, your operating ratio has to come down to 80s. Once your operation ratio is 80s, then your investment makes sense. So in order to earn 100 rupees, you are investing only 80. So it's a good investment proposition. Once your base is strong, your investment can give you better return, then you can even have Warren Buffett's of the world looking at Indian Railways very seriously. I can guarantee you that. Yeah, of course. And I can tell you, I have already opened a channel talking to Warren Buffett, why don't you take interest in Indian Railways? And he would be very much interested, I can guarantee you.
Are you apprehensive about that first railway budget speech?
Not at all. Not in the least.
The MPs keep heckling, isn't it?
There's part
when the announcements happen of whether if their constituency has got something or not is something that they're all hearing out for, isn't it?
That you have to be intelligent. I have visited almost all the states. I have interacted with every member of parliament. There is not a single member of parliament which can say that I have not interacted. I have interacted with almost every chief minister. I have been going to all the states, sitting with my entire board and understanding what is their problem.
And it's been what, 7 months?
It's been 7 months. It's
7 months since you came into this job, and you didn't come into it at a very, at a very good time. It was a very challenging time. It was on the back of 2 very, very bad accidents.
Yeah, the first, immediately after my oath, instead of going home or the office, I went to Kanpur to oversee that accident. And I must tell you, and I really get emotion because those scenes are still haunting me. And that is why my entire thrust of my ministry is safety. Because jaan hai to jahan hai. If the travel is not safe, then why travel? And I can guarantee you we are capable of doing this. We can give safety. Only problem is it's time consuming, it's capital intensive, and it requires a lot of skill, which we have the skills and all things.
You know, you're saying today that you have a tremendous opportunity to sort of, to make the railways, to take the railways in a completely different direction. You have also said today that you all are a team, that you have great respect for the Prime Minister.
Sure.
So all this conversation about the Trinamool and the Congress, being at loggerheads on various issues and you being caught in the crossfire, is that something we should just see as coalition politics playing out but not getting in the way of work? Because there was conjecture that you may not even have presented this railway budget.
As far as I am concerned, I have to make the best of the situation. I believe in sort of constructive politics. That doesn't mean that, perhaps whichever party is doing is destructive. No, these are all political compulsion of the state. And states have their own aspiration. So I don't get involved as far as my railway is concerned. I will cry, I'll scream that I need money, but that doesn't mean that we are not on the same page. If Prime Minister of India can give me money, he'll be the first one to say that no, I'll give you more. So I have to also understand the problems of the system. I cannot be unreasonable, but I will cry, I will scream, but I will behave. This is what democracy is all about.
So, Mr. Trivedi, the little bit I know.
You have to be a part of the solution. I don't want to be part of a problem, I want to be part of a solution.
How would you react if I tell you that a lot of people believe that the Trinamool Congress is behaving like it's part of the problem and not part of the solution?
If I get distracted into politics of coalition, one party, another party, then I will get derailed. And I am in such a sensitive system that I just don't get into that argument at all. I do my duty as a member of parliament, as a member of Trinamool Congress, which I am grateful. We have a wonderful leader like Mamata Banerjee, so honest, so pro people. So I have to balance. I don't want to be seen around as somebody who's not doing its first obligation towards the railways, right?
And second obligation to the party?
I have no hesitation in saying one thing. My first obligation is to the country. My second obligation, which is first and second are the same, is to the railways. My party, my family, everybody comes second. There is no compromise on that thought. My fundamentals are clear, that I'll go by my conscience, and my conscience tells me do whatever is best for the railways.
Mr. Trivedi, whatever little bit I know about you and I hear about you, you're an affable, urbane human being. Okay?
Thank you.
Yes, and it is a compliment. Now, the question I'm going to lead to from there is that the persona of your party leader, of Mamata Banerjee, is very, very different. What's the meeting ground between the two of you, and how do you manage Mamata, to put it in a very honestly, typical newspaper way?
To be very fair to Mamata Banerjee, I don't think so. There are too many people who I can give example what she did. 35 years of communist rule.
Nobody disputes her achievement.
One single leader, a lady, determination to serve the poor and the people, to give democracy back to Bengal. She fought. I can be nowhere near Mamata Banerjee as far as that is concerned, and I am very, very clear about that also. Everybody has their own ways of doing things. I can never compare myself with her because she is such a tall national leader. Everybody knows her, perhaps in the world. So what I am trying to tell you is, I bring her value. Everybody has to bring some value on the plate, and that's what I do. And don't try to change myself. And I serve as a member of the team of Mamata Banerjee, and then that's about it. There's never been a conflicting interest because we are on the same page. Methodology could be different.
Working style.
Working style could be different. I may not agree with a lot of things the way she does. She may not agree with a lot of things the way I do, but that's okay. Doesn't matter.
With all due respect to your predecessors, all the railway ministers who've come and gone, there is a sense that they are playing to the gallery when the budgets are read out. And I can, as a viewer, you can hear MPs react, okay? So sometimes they react because the railway minister is being too favorable to their own constituency or state or whatever it is. And then there are concessions that are being made for everybody, which you just referred to. Can you assure me that the budget you will present on March 14th will be the least political budget, and political in its negative sense, of course?
I can tell you the budget is going to be whatever is good for the Indian Railways. That is absolutely no compromise. I can guarantee you that.
More realistic, less political.
It's going to be good for the Indian Railways. So you have got to present a budget which is effective, modern, and you have to make sure that you have to deliver and get it passed in the parliament also. That is, a political compulsion is always there. So I have a tremendous task of walking on a tight rope, and down below I see lot of there is no safety net here. Okay, there is no safety net, but I have to walk very, very cautiously. And I think my training in life, whether through my colleges, schools, parents, friends, environment, I think I am quite well trained to take this on, and I am quite relaxed. I have no problems. God has been kind, nature is with me, you know, CNBC 18 is obviously with me, so I'll not have any problem, I'm sure.
Mr. Trivedi, you know, you have the opportunity of a lifetime. You
Sure.
seem very committed to the cause. We wish you all the very, very best.
Thank you.